and welcome to the explosive weekend debate with me, Ayushman Singh Jamwal. Ladies and gentlemen, on the eve of the special session of Parliament, the central government convened an all-party meeting. The 5-day special session of Parliament begins with a discussion on its 75-year journey. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary of the Congress Party stated that all opposition parties have demanded the passage of the Women's Reservation Bill during the upcoming special session, and continue to accuse the government of keeping them in the dark. The opposition is maintaining the fact that the agenda of the special session has not been properly laid out by the central government. Additionally, leaders from the BJD and the BRS have also affirmed their pitch. They also want the tabling and the passage of the Women's Reservation Bill, saying that this long-standing legislation must be realized by the special session of Parliament. Now, the Congress Party has maintained that despite the agenda, they will raise people-centric issues and oppose the government's legislative push on multiple fronts. At the same time, the question remains, is this much ado about nothing, this suspense and this political war that is taking place over the special session of Parliament? And can the opposition camp, the India Alliance, which has divergent views on so many different legislative issues, can they stay united for that 5-day face-off on multiple issues? That is our top focus on the explosive weekend debate.
तो नहीं आए तो इसके लिए सबके लिए सब अधीर रंजन जी कैसे आए, ऐसे सबको सरकार को ही वो एक तरह इल्जाम लगाना इनका प्रैक्टिस बन गया।
सरकार की क्या मुद्दा और सरकार सदन चलाने के लिए क्यों ये बेमौसम सदन को बुलाए, इस विषय को लेकर हमें भी थोड़ा भ्रम तो जरूर था।
And before we get to our debate, a piece of breaking news that's coming in. According to top government sources, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to be the first opening speaker for the discussion on 75 years of the journey of India's Parliament. Prime Minister Modi will lead the charge when it comes to the BJP stand on democracy, 75 years of democracy and Parliament's entire operation. That'll be the pitch which will be led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the helm of the central government. That'll happen in the Lok Sabha, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as per top government sources, Piyush Goyal, who is leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha, will be the first speaker in the upper house. I'm joined by my colleague Payal Mehta, who's getting us this big piece of break news. Payal, give us the details.
Well, what we are given to understand by way of top government sources is that tomorrow, when the special session of Parliament resumes, there will be, of course, a discussion on the 75 years of parliamentary democracy ahead of moving to the new Parliament building on Tuesday. And this discussion will be led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself, is what we are given to understand, because obviously he talks about the Parliament democracy, talks about India's Parliament history. And incidentally, since Piyush Goyal is also the leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha, he will be initiating that debate in the Rajya Sabha, is what we are given to understand. It comes in on a very, very significant day. Ayushman, even as we are talking about the fact that whether the government will have any discussion further on India versus Bharat, it's a very significant day tomorrow in Indian history. 18th of September 1949 is when the Constituent Assembly, after a discussion of 4 days, had passed a resolution to say that India, which is also known as Bharat, is a union of states as well. So we are expecting the Prime Minister to throw light on his experience in the Indian Parliament and the parliamentary democracy that he's seen. He's likely to, make a lot of reference to the past governments as well. So it's a very interesting thing to watch out for. So tomorrow at 11 o'clock when the House resumes, we believe that in some time from then, the discussion will begin, because there is no 0 hour, there's no question hour, and there's no private members bill. So it's obviously going to be the discussion which will start immediately.
Right. Thank you, Payal, for getting us that piece of breaking news. Let's shift focus to our guests. I'm joined by Shazia Ilmi of the BJP, Arshpreet Khadial of the Congress Party, and Professor Geeta Bhatt, political analyst, joining us on the broadcast right ahead of the special session of Parliament. And what we are learning from top government sources is that when it comes to 75 years of India's democratic journey through parliamentary democracy, Prime Minister Modi will be the first speaker in the Lok Sabha. Arshpreet, I'll start with you. What is the point of contention at the end of the day? The government is saying that when it comes to the centre, and several opposition parties who have been in power in the past are aware of procedures by which the list of business is announced. No agenda can be declared in advance as per parliamentary procedure. So what is the point of contention?
Thank you. Kindly allow me 2 minutes uninterrupted. Number one, whether it be the old Parliament building or the new Parliament building. I doubt that the Bharatiya Janata Party would mend its ways. The Bharatiya Janata Party is accustomed to having no debate and discussion, is accustomed to making sure that the people-centric issues take a backseat. The issues that concern with the Bharatiya Janata Party or are in interest for the Bharatiya Janata Party take priority. They would still make sure that the mic of the opposition members is muted, that the MPs, if they raise relevant questions, relevant issues, they are suspended. The Bharatiya Janata Party would still try and make sure that they turn our democracy into autocracy. They would not ask, they would impose. And my request to the Bharatiya Janata Party is, for once, you could have consulted with other political parties before you convened a special session as to what the agenda should have been, because we happen to be living in the world's largest democracy. Shouldn't the Bharatiya Janata Party have at least consulted, have had an all-party meeting? And number three, the Bharatiya Janata Party, despite us time and again asking what is going to be the agenda, give us specific details of it, because a lot of money, crores are going to be spent upon these in these days to come of the Parliament special session. So why should they not be utilized? Because if the opposition would know about it, only then can we prepare, then can we offer something, then can we contribute something. But the Bharatiya Janata Party is clearly not affected to do that. And I'll tell them one thing: no matter what you do and no matter what you say, the issues of the public will be raised in the special coming session. We'll raise the issue of caste census. We'll make sure it's brought up. We'll raise the issue of inflation. We'll make sure it's brought up. We'll raise the issue of Manipur. We'll raise the issue of communal clashes. We'll raise the issue of the conflict and rift between states and center, and all the other issues that are concerned with the public of India, because the Bharatiya Janata Party can
Is this some sort of a speech?
One second,
Is
please.
this some of a? Is this? I just want to know: is this a debate
Miss,
or a?
Miss Ilmi,
some
Miss
sort of
Ilmi,
a
Miss Ilmi, you will get
speech
equal
that-
amount of time to respond to
The
each and every
Parliament,
point.
you can see this is what the BJP does. In Parliament also they would try.
But Ashpreet, I request you to complete your point.
But
Thank you. So all I'm saying is this is an example of the Bharatiya Janata Party's model of governance. Ayushman, this is what they do. This is their expertise, to interrupt,
Right.
to suppress the voice of the opposition, to not let the voice of the people come out. That's
Right.
what the Bharatiya Janata Party does best.
I think your voice is kind of like echoing through this entire debate. You can't say that you're not being given
Thanks
any
to
time.
you, Ayushman.
But let's.
In fact,
But when you talk about, I think you sounded off Sonia Gandhi's 9-point agenda. When you talk about rise in communal tensions, I hope you are ready to debate the entire Sanatan firestorm that was caused by your own ally. Shazia Almi, please respond.
so, first, thank you. I would like to say thanks to the anchor, Mr. Jambal, and unlike other petulant voices
there'll
in
be
the
no
Congress
lectures
Party and INDI alliance, I would not
there would be no
blame you
lectures
or threaten to boycott you, though you gave a lot of time to the spokesperson from Congress. But I will
You've been
not be a sore
intimidating.
loser, and I will not complain and go crying and say no. From next time, I will not appear on a show with Mr. Jambal because he didn't give me time. No, I will not do that. Because
Well,
I know
at
you have
least
to Mr.
you
Beauty
not do what you
Prostitutes.
did with people.
And so I-
Arshpreet, come on.
What you did with all-
Arshpreet,
what you did with
Arshpreet,
Netflix.
at the end of the day, Shazia Almi did not interrupt you. She let you speak for a long time. Come on, she just started speaking and you have already started. Please let her make her point.
Yeah. So I heard, I think everybody, including me, we heard what Arshdeep has to say about. So first of all, he says, why is there a special session? Then he says the agenda is not shared. Then he says, though it's a special session, but we will not be allowed to speak. And now, though we will not be allowed to speak, yet we will speak. So I just heard a lot of confusion. So I don't think there's any point. And aren't you glad that the special is happening? You yourself are saying that you will raise all these issues. Parliament is the best place. It is a temple of democracy. You should raise these issues. You should applaud the effort of the government to have a special session where you can voice your concerns. What is an issue? You want to also voice your concerns, yet you have a problem with the session. And now Jairam Ramesh is saying now that we have the agenda also, we want to know why this could not have been pushed to the winter session. But now, as a spokesperson, you are saying, Arshdeep, that the fact of the matter is we will discuss these issues. What is a confusion? What is a problem? What is a contention? What is a dissent all about? Because you're not even dissenting. You're not agreeing, not disagreeing. Why are you so rankled and rattled that you don't have anything coherent to say. I mean, I don't understand. First, you're saying we don't have a people's issue, but you have a point and you will raise the people's issues there. So it's great. I mean, what are we discussing then?
Right, so the BJP
You
is
keep on
saying,
suspending
but
me.
Ashpreet, the BJP is saying, bring it on. You know, whatever you want to discuss, bring it on. We are ready to debate anything in Parliament. You've just made a very, political point that your mics will be switched off. I think this entire
Nobody believes it.
doomsday prediction right ahead of the Parliament session, you've already, let open your agenda that at the end of the day, you want to raise something, the government may not agree with you, and to you, that is silencing your voices. I don't think that that's the right way to go forward. Every agenda that even Sonia Gandhi has pushed out in that 9-point kind of letter that she's put out, debate all of it. The BJP, I don't sense any hesitation coming in from the BJP camp. Geeta Bhatt, you wanted to come in. Is the opposition, anger when it comes to the special session of Parliament, is it much ado about nothing?
Well, Mr. Jamal, there are times when in a democracy, in a parliamentary democracy, there are certain times when a particular movement, it is larger than life. And I think this is such an occasion when we are going into ushering in an absolutely new era where in a new building which is totally indigenously built, the parliament session is about to begin. And this is not for the first time when special parliamentary sessions has taken place. Almost 7 or 8 times earlier also special parliamentary sessions have taken place. In 1992, it was for celebrating 50th year of the Quit India movement when a midnight session was held. Similarly, there are many other occasions, like in 2015, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's 125th anniversary, birth anniversary was there. Then a special session, and there are other occasions also. So, it is rather strange that just for the sake of criticizing whatever the government is doing, if the opposition is going to come out and criticize just for the sake of criticize, I don't think it is going to go very well with the, within the public, this kind of a stand where already the agenda, what is to be discussed, it has already been placed. Now the bills which are going to be discussed, it is not that there is any new bill. They have already been placed. Some of them have been passed in the Rajya Sabha. They have to be placed in the Lok Sabha, so on and so forth. And all other aspects have been put forth. And All India Party meet has been called today. So that there is a transparency and there is an understanding. There is no misunderstanding between the parties. That how they are going to take forward the session in the next 5 days. So what more transparency that one expects, and whatever they want to discuss on the floor of the house, they always had the opportunity, but it seems the opposition has always missed it, especially in the monsoon sessions. Whether it was this monsoon session where ostensibly the reason was being put forth that the Prime Minister has to come and discuss the issue of Manipur when the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, was time and again requesting that he is there to answer all kind of queries, questions.
Right, but that was something that the opposition did not agree with. They didn't care that Home Minister Amit Shah was there to answer questions. They wanted Prime Minister Modi to speak out, and he's going to be the first speaker tomorrow. That's what top government sources have told us when it comes to the Lok Sabha session. Arshpreet, you wanted to make a point? Go ahead.
Thank you. See, Ayushman, one, I appreciate, Ayushman, the way you anchor the show, the way you ask questions. The Bharatiya Janata Party here is basically trying to distort, is trying to create a conflict with something that they do best. And I don't want lectures from the Bharatiya Janata Party that has done what it's done to NDTV, Dainik Bhaskar.
Oh, come on. We're not here to discuss any of that. Come on.
One second. Ayushman, she raised a question. I'm just answering her.
Yeah, I mean,
so
let's face it. It was just your party that put out a list of anchors. I mean,
one second.
That was not appropriate.
One second. I'll give an answer to it.
Yeah.
We do not conduct IT surveys, IT raids on channels like NDTV, Alt News, Dainik Bhaskar, BBC, etc. This is something that has happened back in the day and everybody's witnessed it. Number two, the things that I was talking about that rarely does it happen in the parliament, that there is a debate, there is a discussion, that the opposition is allowed adequate representation, is allowed the chance to speak. And if they ask questions, their mics are muted. Mr. Gandhi was subjected to that. and then our MPs have been suspended, our MPs have been disqualified in the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha. So this is all that has happened with us. It's a pain that we have gone through. The Bharatiya Janata Party would never ever understand it because it's subjecting us to it, not being subjected to that. Number two, let me make one thing very clear. My question to the Bharatiya Janata Party is one, that is the Bharatiya Janata Party in favor of caste census, yes or no? Are you in the favor of reservation, yes or no? Number two, they say that we do not have to convey the agenda in advance because that is how the modus operandi is. Now, let me ask them this question. Then why have they contradicted themselves in Punjab? Because in Punjab, the Punjab government wanted to have a special session. The governor said that you have to convey the agenda well in advance. Only then shall it happen. So now the Bharatiya Janata Party is taking a U-turn on this stand. Shall explain why. Number three, Shazia did not really understand what I was talking, the logic, the common sense in it. So therefore, she tries to pin it upon their counterpart only because they don't understand. They get confused. They try to pin it on their counterpart that they are not making sense. People do get what we say. People do make sense of our points. And I want to ask the Bharatiya Janata Party, are you or are you not in favor of women reservation? Yes or no? This is my third question. Would the Bharatiya Janata Party deliberate over the points that I have raised, the caste census, the Manipur issue, the communal disharmony, the rift between center and states?
Right. You've already made that point. Shazia Elmi, that pitch that's coming from the Congress party, what are your stands on all these issues that the opposition has raised when it comes to women's reservation? Will that be pushed through? Prahlad Joshi said it'll come at an appropriate time, but the opposition clearly making this an agenda right ahead of the state elections as well as 2024.
So, first of all, let me say that, there was something I heard about mics being muted, to which the Honorable Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House both have called out the bluff or the lies, made by Rahul Gandhi. Of course, he's a habitual liar and he's been rapped on the knuckles by the Supreme Court, not once but many times.
I'm sorry.
And how he had to apologize. Secondly, when he has nothing to say. You see, even on all that he rambled right now, there is not one concrete point. If this special session has been called out tomorrow, what is the problem? If all these things that you have narrated, my political opponent has narrated as a tale of the woes, isn't the parliament the best place to discuss it? So they should look forward to it. What is the issue? And BJP's stand, whether it's Manipur and all the other issues, is extremely well known. I think this is one party which is not like the INDI alliance, which is fighting over Sanatan Dharma, Article 370,
are you in favor of caste census?
And all of that. BJP is very clear. Whether it's Article 370 and 35A,
the counter will be that you can raise whatever you want.
Whether it's a uniform civil code, whether it's one nation, one poll, BJP is very clear. What is that? I think there is no ambiguity whatsoever. There is ambiguity and utter confusion, which is very evident from the ramblings of my worthy opponent.
Are you in favor of reservation?
Ashmi, the point is that you will ask these questions and some counter questions will be asked. Are you in favor of the abrogation of Article 370? That's also a question. Are you in favor for a debate on the Uniform Civil Code? That's also another question. Are you and your opposition allies ready to have a debate on Sanatan Dharma? One of the points that Sonia Gandhi raised was the fact that you want to discuss communal tensions. You will raise rising communal tensions in this country as a point of debate. Will you debate about what the DMK leaders, members of your alliance partners have said about Sanatan Dharma? Should that be a point of debate in Parliament?
I'll answer your question. Kindly allow me just 1 minute uninterrupted. As far as the statement of an individual is concerned, let's understand one thing, and it should be
that individual is an alliance partner.
One second, I'll have to
that individual is an alliance partner.
Miss Ilmi, I've asked him the question. Let him have that 60 seconds. Yeah.
Thank you. So what we are saying is, Ayushman, that an individual statement cannot be attributed to an alliance of more than 28 plus political parties. I'm coming to that. I'll answer your question. it cannot be attributed an individual statement. Number two, we have categorically, unequivocally condemned the statement, and
You
we
have
have
not condemned it.
One
Please,
second. One
please,
second,
don't,
please. One
don't
second.
give me
Please
that.
check the,
You have
please
not
check the statement of
condemned
Mr.
it.
Pavan Kheda.
No,
Please
but
check
he
the
said, no,
statement
no,
of
no.
Mr. Pavan Kheda.
No, Pavan Kheda, I'll tell you. I completely, I remember
Now,
this.
please let
KC
me have
Venugopal
60
came, KC Venugopal held
Can I have 60
a press
seconds, Ayushman?
conference. KC Venugopal said
Can I have 60
everyone has
seconds?
different views in the India Alliance. Pavan Kheda came and said, we do not
Now-
believe in what Udayanithi Stalin has said.
No, I'm
On
sorry.
top of that,
The-
Karti Chidambaram, Priyank Kharge have all backed what Udayanithi Stalin said.
Now, I'll tell
Even
you
what the central command says, your local leaders are not listening to it. Go ahead.
Ayushman, I'll tell you the words. I just requested for uninterrupted 1 minute, but I'll still answer your questions that you have intervened and asked me. As far as the words of Mr. Pavan Kheda are concerned, the word used was, we show strong disapproval to it. Number two, if the Bharatiya Janata Party wants to attribute an individual statement to the entire alliance, then there are statements made by BJP leaders and their alliance partners that farmers are terrorists. That
And
should
you
be
have
attributed
every right to
but
raise that.
Number two, they have also said on foreign platform that we used to feel ashamed for being born an Indian. It should be attributed to the entire NDA alliance, and there should be an action initiated against them.
See,
as
my
it
point.
happened. Not at all.
See,
Number two.
Ashwin, you need to finish that point. I'm running out of time also. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just finishing up. So all I'm saying is that the Bharatiya Janata Party runs away from debating upon relevant issues, and the recent and the latest example is that of Manipur. For 77 days,
Right.
the
You still
Honorable
haven't
Prime
answered my
Minister
question.
quite about
You still haven't answered my question. At the end of the
What's
day,
the question?
you will, of course, raise whatever points members of the NDA alliance make. You will point it directly to Prime Minister Modi. But over here, you're saying what the DMK says. Don't attribute it to our alliance.
Mr.
Please,
Modi's
come on. These are
presence-
double standards
Mr.
at the end of the day.
Modi's presence for 4 hours.
Shazia Almi, please go ahead, counter that, and I'll give the final word to Geeta Bhatt
No,
after that.
you can counter. What can you counter? There is nothing there to be countered. There is nothing concrete or coherent. It is such a jumble of ideas and, all the points he has jotted down, which don't even make sense. Like he's saying, mics have been
Please,
muted. Where have the
points.
mics been muted? He talked about Manipur in discussion. We saw how Amit Shah, the Home Minister in
No
charge
confidence
of the
motion
matter,
had to be
was
brought.
trying to speak. They are the ones who boycotted every parliament session. So I don't understand. And their real questions about Sanatan Dharma. After all, Swami Prasad Maurya of Samajwadi Party says it's a big hoax. DMK stands by it, not only but reiterates the fact that Sanatan Dharma is a big
three leaders of the DMK.
poison. So there are real questions that they will have to answer too. So I mean, what I'm trying to say is that we have clarity on what we believe and is out there for everybody to see and judge. But what is happening within the INDI, you have to thrash it out. So if you are confused, you don't have to inflict it on others. Please don't inflict your confusion on others. Deal with it.
Right,
I can't help with your confusion.
Right, at the end
I
of the
can
day,
only
those
counter
contradicting
points
views
which
is
is
something
complete.
the India
There is
Alliance
something to be
still needs to
countered.
work
There
out
is
at the end of
nothing
the day.
worth countering that you're even giving me.
Absolutely. Ashpreet, even in this upcoming state elections, you are still contenders when it comes to the elections with your alliance partners in the India Alliance. Geeta Bhatt, last 30 seconds to you. Please go ahead.
Jamal, while that the mics were being switched off in the parliament, that is being brought up again and again. I am just reminded of the UPA government's time in 2014. When the erstwhile Andhra Pradesh was being discussed that a new state has to be carved out of it. And during that discussion, I distinctly remember that the DD News direct telecast of the parliament session, there was a blackout. And there were marshals who were put inside, and the member of parliaments were heckled inside, and the doors were locked. This is what happened when Congress was, was on the ruling side. Nevertheless, the point here is that the way the opposition parties and very important voices of the opposition alliance, after the Mumbai meeting, suddenly had come out and speaking against the Sanatan Dharma in one way or the other, is something which needs to be put forth and it needs to be confronted, because Sanatan Dharma is something which is very liberal and inclusive and invites criticism. But that does not mean that any political party or leader can insult it, and that is what has been happening. And unfortunately, the alliance partners, they are defending it but they are not condemning it.
Absolutely.
They are time and again coming
Just
out
one
and
thing,
giving
Ashman.
explanations.
Absolutely. No, I'm sorry.
Just
I've
one
run
line.
out of time. I think
Just
we'll have
one
to
line.
we'll have to
Just one
see
line.
the fireworks. I'm sorry, Ashmit. We'll have
Thank
to
you
see
so
the
much.
fireworks tomorrow in the special session of Parliament. Thank you, Shazia Ilmi, Ashmit Khadial, and Geeta Bhatt for joining us on this debate. So let's see what showdown we can expect in the special session of Parliament tomorrow. That's all we have to pack in on the show. Thank you for watching.